watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Well, good morning to you and welcome into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Weimer and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday morning live on Fox Local and on YouTube. I want to let you know some of what we have coming up for you on the show today. NASCAR driver William Byron is going to join us here on Fox 35 News Plus later in the hour. This is Daytona weekend coming up, the summer race, the Wawa 250 on Friday in the Xfinity Series, the Cup Series race, the Coke Zero Sugar 400 on Saturday night. We're going to talk with him about that in just a little bit. Mayor Buddy Dyer delivering the State of the City address. We're also tracking some breaking news in Seminole County where a suspect in connection with a sexual assault on Seminole-Wekiva Trail has been taken into custody. But I want to get you live now to Manatee County, where the sheriff there is getting ready to give an update on the case involving missing 18-year-old Giovanni Pelletier, who has been found dead in a retention pond. Let's go ahead and listen in.
Latrell picking up Giovanni, who's in Charlotte County, and taking him back to Brevard County, where Latrell lives. They're trying to figure out the details. At 5:41 p.m., Latrell texts that he's going to have to use his grandmother's car, which is a white Malibu. At 8:30, they're still texting each other. They text about smoking weed. Giovanni says, I haven't had a smoke in a while because of court stuff going on in North Carolina. And he goes on to say, I definitely need a smoke. At 10:08 p.m., Latrell, Jalen Washington, and Zachary Cummings start heading toward Charlotte County. Zach Cummings is the driver of the white Malibu at the time. During interviews, Latrell tells detectives that not long into the drive, they start smoking weed in the car, and Giovanni starts tripping. They stopped the car at an unknown location along River Road before they got to I-75 because Giovanni needed to use the bathroom. Latrell says that Giovanni is acting out and raging before getting back into the car. They continue driving north on I-75, and at this point, they're about 26 miles away south of State Road 70. At 1:55 a.m., Giovanni sends his mother a text saying help. At 1:56 a.m., he sends another message that says help, followed by me. Jalen says Giovanni was tripping, telling them, I am a demon, and I will wreck this car, and says he will kill them all as he tries to open up the door while the car is still moving. This happens while they're in Manatee County, close to State Road 70. Zachary, the driver, pulls the car over onto the side of the road on the shoulder, the northbound I-75 on the east shoulder of State Road 70. Jalen and Zach are in the front seats, and they hear that Giovanni has a knife. And we know that he always carried a knife. He had two knives. He had a folding pocket knife, and he had a blade, but this knife was still in the sheath, never took it out. They said that Giovanni gets out of the car and begins running southbound in the southbound lanes of I-75. They see him in the middle of the northbound lanes and almost get hit by a truck. This is the last time they see him. He left behind his backpack and cell phone, so they took that and placed it onto the side of State Road, or I-75 at State Road 70 at the entrance ramp on the east side. At 2:26 a.m., Latrell calls his grandfather to let the grandfather know that Giovanni got out of the car. At 2:27, Latrell calls Bridget, Giovanni's mother, but there's no answer. We know that they continue northbound on I-75. We have them stopping at the Flying J truck stop in Hillsborough County off the I-4, and you can tell by their phones that they eventually make it home to Brevard County. At approximately 6:50 a.m., Luttrell calls Bridget again. She answers, and he gives her the information on what transpired that night. At 7:13, Bridget calls the Manatee County Sheriff's Office to look for Giovanni on I-75. She says, from the 911 call that we collected, I received some missed calls from my son this morning. He was being picked up by a relative, and I was told that they left him on the side of the highway, that there was some type of an altercation and a knife was involved. She asked if a deputy could do a wellness check and make sure that he's okay. The dispatcher responds, you mentioned a possible altercation, but can you tell me again exactly what happened? She states, so I'm getting this from people who were there. He said they were in the car, and I guess they had given my son some weed, and my son doesn't normally do any drugs. I guess they had given him some weed, and then he started to freak out and said he wanted to get out of the car. And they were like, hey, just calm down, thinking maybe it was the drugs he was taking. They kept saying, calm down, and everything will be okay. And then I guess he got out of the car to go to the bathroom, and that's when I received the text saying, Mom, help, in that time frame, she said. And then he said that he continued to freak out and didn't know what was going on. They left him behind on I-75. Bridget is heading northbound on I-75 to try to locate her son. A deputy responds to that area, but finds no pedestrian on the interstate. At 7:21, a truck driver who was checking the load on his truck, it's a sod truck, pulls off in that same area on the east side of I-75, northbound, sees the backpack, picks it up. He travels to Tampa with the backpack. Bridget sees that the phone is moving, but does not know that it's a truck driver that actually has the bag and has the phone. She eventually calls Tampa PD, and an officer responds to the area where the truck driver was doing some work, recovers the cell phone and the bag. This is about 9:21 when TPD recovers the phone and the bag. At 9:28, Charlotte County Sheriff's Office opened a missing person case. And we also learned that Charlotte County reached out to Brevard County Sheriff's Office, and they were instrumental in interviewing all the passengers in the vehicle and as this investigation unfolded. They voluntarily give Brevard County the vehicle, the white Malibu that they were in. Brevard County processes the vehicle and finds no foul play, no blood, nothing, no evidence whatsoever inside that vehicle. Charlotte County reaches out to us once again to check to see if Giovanni had been admitted to any hospitals or possibly was arrested. And there was no sign of Giovanni in our system. On Monday, August 4th, Charlotte County requests the assistance of the Manatee County Sheriff's Office as they search the area that Luttrell says they dropped off Giovanni on I-75. They do an extensive search east of the interstate in wooded areas on both sides of State Road 70 and find nothing. On Tuesday, August 5th, Charlotte County comes back to Manatee County along with a volunteer team that have good cadaver dogs. Also, the Charlotte County Aviation Unit was flying overhead. We had 3 of our detectives assisting them with searching the areas that they wanted to search that day. After about 4.5 hours, they told our detectives that they're not really sure that Giovanni is in this area. Now, why is that important? We know that he got out of the car on River Road before he got onto I-75. So as investigators, they're starting to think maybe he never made it to State Road 70. Now, I can't speak for the Charlotte County detectives. I can't speak for Sheriff Promell. But they know the backpack was there, but there's no sighting of Giovanni in that area at this time. So Charlotte County is still searching, and they're searching hard in the area of River Road and I-75. But we know that that's not where he was at. On Friday, August 8th, at about 3:15 p.m., Manatee County Sheriff's Office receives a call about a body located in a pond right off of I-75 at the exit ramp to State Road 70. We learned that a friend of the family had been searching the area and had located the body. I sent my entire homicide team out there along with their sergeant, lieutenant, captain, and major to process this scene. The medical examiner investigator also responds to help with the processing of the body. We do a deep x-ray, a scan of the body. The ME does that night. There's no signs of any trauma to the body. There's no indication that he was shot. There's no indication that he was stabbed. There's nothing at that time that helps us determine cause of death. On Saturday, August 9th, detectives and crime scene techs go back out to the scene. They conduct another thorough investigation of the area, search of the area. Our drone unit also flew over the pond and the surrounding area, but didn't find anything of any value. On Sunday, the District 12 medical examiner performed an autopsy of the body. Preliminary indication was no signs of trauma or foul play, but the cause of death is still undetermined. On August 11th, my dive team goes back out to the pond to search it once again to make sure that we did not miss anything in the initial searches. They find nothing. We're trying to pinpoint exactly where Giovanni got out of the car. That's our main focus. My detectives reach out to Brevard County, who help us reach out to Giovanni's cousin, Jalen, Latrell, and Zach, and we request that they interview again with us. They do so freely. We respond to Brevard County, and we interview the three. They give us the exact same story that they gave Brevard County. They also agreed to come back to Manatee County to help us pinpoint exactly where they pulled off the side of the road and where Giovanni got out of the car. So that brings us to today. We started reviewing all of the FDOT cameras in the area. This is complicated at times because these cameras, they will move at certain parts of the day. They're not always focused on one particular area. So we started to do our best to locate any movement whatsoever that would give us an indication that Giovanni was alive at that time. And we found Giovanni at about 2:18 a.m. on the night in question on I-75. And we want to show that video now. It's difficult to see at first, so bear with us.
Sir.
Yep. This is the 44th Avenue camera, located about 1.2 miles north of State Road 70. right here, it's hard to tell, but you can see some movement over here on these are the southbound lanes. He's coming across right here. You see a truck having to get out of the way. He'll clear up a little bit here in a second. He has on a white shirt. You can see him coming across. Here's the truck trying to avoid hitting him. You can point him out right here. He's coming eastbound. Now he's walking back westbound. And there's a concrete barrier right here. And down here is where the pond is. So then we continue to check cameras. And we get lucky at a Lowe's, which is located on the west side of State Road 70. We have a camera that's pointing at the embankment now that he comes down at 2:19 a.m. Play that, Ben. And I want you to stay focused right here. Now that's a steep embankment. He's coming down there almost an uncontrollable sprint. If you've ever gone down a hill, you know what I'm talking about. But the pond is right here at the edge of that embankment. I mean, the important thing that I want you to see, there's no one chasing him. There's no one around him. In fact, when he's coming down that embankment, the vehicle is 2 miles away. So there's no one in this area with Giovanni. There's no one that's chasing him. He's by himself. Now, what we don't know is what happened when he hit that pond. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. The death is undetermined. So we know that we don't have anyone that comes down that embankment after him. They don't look for him. He's there, we believe, until he was located by the family friend on Friday, the 8th. We really don't know what happened once he got into the pond. And once again, anything that I say would be pure speculation. We're still waiting for the ME to determine the cause of death, and we're also still waiting for the toxicology. So we don't have all the answers. We know this is the last sighting of him that night. Any questions? Anything you want to ask?
Has the family reviewed this footage and the timeline and everything?
I think Bridget just is here now. I think that, I don't know if she's reviewed the video. I know the detectives were on their way, but she's here. She's here now.
Sheriff Wells, could you remind me again, were all three individuals in the car, are they all cousins of Giovanni?
No, I know Luttrell is a cousin, and I think that Zach is definitely not, and I think that Jalen's just a good friend.
Okay, so Zach and Jalen are good friends.
Yeah.
Was the driver of the car, was he under the influence?
Not that we know of.
Okay.
We have no indication of that.
Okay.
Sheriff, can you talk about, we know that Charlotte County was the lead investigative agency in this. How hard is that when Manatee County was just a stop and we don't know at that point so early on that his actions?
Yeah, I mean, our detectives were working with them, and Charlotte County was keeping us up to date. And, you know, we searched with them on that, on the 4th and the 5th. A lot of time was spent on the east side. And even though the helicopter was flying the entire area, you know, they were really focused on that east side. And it's heavily wooded, it's wet, and they believe that that's where he would have gone. And we have no reason to dispute that. And I think that, you know, they did exactly what we would do. They're searching. They know that River Road is also, because when they're searching in Manatee, they're also searching River Road. So they're parallel. Everybody's searching in both areas. Because those are the two areas of concern.
Sheriff Wells, you mentioned that there were possibly drugs involved. Were those drugs sort of found and like, tested for anything else?
When the vehicle was processed by Brevard, there was still some marijuana residue in there. I don't know if they analyzed that or not.
Sheriff, so at this point, is anyone charged with anything?
No.
Thank you. Could anyone be charged given that drugs were involved?
We don't have any way of proving who smoked what. We don't know who was smoking in their car, so I would say no. I mean, really the focus right now is to see what comes back from toxicology. Is there going to be something that alerts us to another drug that we don't know about? Any more questions? Yes.
I know you said you didn't want to speculate, but is the thinking maybe it was some kind of different weed, synthetic marijuana, he had a bad reaction, became paranoid, and then accidentally, stumbled down the hill and drowned?
Well, I don't want to speculate because I don't think that's fair to the family. I don't know what happened. So I want to wait for the toxicology report to come back to see if there was something in there that's alarming that points to something more that we need to investigate.
Can you talk about, too, I know we as reporters know that, can you tell the public just how long the toxicology report can take so far?
I mean, sometimes they can take up to 2 months or longer. I mean, we are asking them to rush it, and we would like to get them back sooner than later. I just don't know how long that's going to take.
I know there was some concern that because of the conditions of body, because it had been in there for so long, that the toxicology report might not be complete, or they might not be able to get a full picture. Is that still the thinking, or?
I know that they were able to get a sample. I don't know how good that sample is going to be. But they did get a sample, and they sent that off to be analyzed. Anything else?
One more.
Yep.
Is it possible he got clipped by the vehicle and maybe it doesn't show that, but he was hurt and then went down the hill?
We can only go by the medical examiner's report that it doesn't indicate that there were any injuries to the body. I mean, we know he was very close to being hit, a couple of times, but we didn't see any trauma to the body, and I don't think the ME did as well.
Thank you.
And it sounds like with this, just from hearing you talk and from hearing other stuff from Charlotte County Sheriff's Office, or Brevard County Sheriff's Office, those in Brevard have been fully cooperative.
They were very cooperative with Brevard and with us, and like I said, they came back to Manatee County on their own to help us pinpoint where they pulled off on the side of I-75.
There's been a lot of speculation online, change.org petition. Are you hoping that this timeline, this video, will sort of quash any rumors out there in terms of what might have actually happened, or calls for outside agencies to get involved in the investigation?
Listen, we work for the family. Our job is to give them the information on what we believe happened. I don't focus on outside interference. If anyone else wants to review this case, they can do so. Anything else? All right, thank you all.
Manatee County Sheriff Rick Walls giving an update on the case of the death of Giovanni Pelletier, who had been reported missing. There was a days-long search for him. He was eventually found in a retention pond, dead. The cause of death still undetermined at this time. We heard the sheriff talk about still waiting on the toxicology report to come back. But some of the video that was shown in this news conference just a little bit ago showed him in the middle of the interstate, also running down an embankment leading to that retention pond where his body was eventually found. The sheriff says that he and the others were smoking weed inside a car when Giovanni began acting erratically, eventually getting out of the car, and then leading to some of what we saw on video. Still a lot of questions about what happened when he got to that pond. You heard the sheriff raise those questions and say he's not going to speculate, but certainly many questions still remain. But this today really kind of pieces together a timeline and a much fuller picture of what happened that led to Giovanni's disappearance and eventual death. We're going to take a break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we'll be right back after this, so keep it here on Fox Local and on YouTube.